areas. And even if it looks clear, we're about to get some. If these wildfires, if you thought the air quality was bad in New York yesterday, if these wildfires continue, that air quality is going to get 50 times worse. So most of the smoke that we've been dealing with has been coming from the upper level. But now they're saying that we're about to get some lower level smoke in all of these areas. And even if it looks clear, we're about to get some very, very thick smoke. Mind you, it's not just New York. Look at what it looks like in Detroit right now. That shit don't look normal. Look at that shit right there. Look at Times Square. They're saying that the air quality could reach up to possibly 800. And if you don't know what that means, that's dangerous air quality. Needless to say, if you gotta go out, you need to be safe. You might need to put on a mask. Places close to the Canadian region are gonna be experiencing a lot of this smoke today. And if you ain't see what Canada was looking like, let me show you. This is northwestern Ontario. Look at what this looks like. So this is the reason why we're receiving all of this smoke right now. It should look dangerous. Real dangerous. Keep in mind, in 2023, this is the same type of things that happened when that smoke was coming from Canada. You had people passing out. You had people coughing. You had people with different complications. So be safe. I'm out. If you thought
the air outside is dangerous to breathe across parts of the U.S., but here's how bad it is. In cities like New York City, where the AQI is around 140 today, spending the day breathing that air can be roughly like smoking about 7 cigarettes. Detroit, Chicago, and Milwaukee are now in the dangerous category, the highest level on the air quality index, with AQIs over 600. Even a few minutes outside can have serious health effects for everyone. The smoke's coming from more than 800 wildfires burning across Canada, and the thickest plume will continue impacting cities like Detroit, Cleveland, New York, Boston, and Philadelphia today. So if you're under an air quality alert, limit your time outside, avoid strenuous exercise, keep your windows closed, and bring pets indoors until conditions improve. The air outside is
Well, it really depends on the AQI, how much smoke particulates are in the air. And boy, yesterday there was a lot of them. So let's go over that. Basically, the scale starts at 1, goes to 50. Anything in the green is good. Anything above 50 is unhealthy for sensitive people. And then anything over 100 is considered unhealthy for just about everybody. Anything over 150 is even worse than that. And that's what we had across dozens of cities yesterday. Numbers in the upper 170s, 180s. But then we had some numbers across the Great Lakes, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and Minnesota that had numbers that were literally off this chart. Upwards of 500, 600. I mean, that might require a respirating mask at this point. So we expect to see those kind of smoke levels again today, and then maybe waning a little bit tomorrow. But remember, we've got 800 fires that are burning across Canada, most of which are in Ontario, pretty close to the Northeast, and they're not going out immediately. So this is going to be an ongoing problem throughout the summer. So might as well grab your mask now. Easy.
As it is written, how these days are evil. I believe that's in Ephesians 5, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Yeah, we're in these last days. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh being who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai being his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And there's no God beside them. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit. And salutations to the elect whom the Lord have given ears to hear. And you know,
well, it really
I'm
depends
outside
on
over here
AQIs,
in
the air quality indices are very much in the unhealthy range. Unhealthy.
Let's do some. Yeah, I'm outside over here in New Jersey, and you know, the Lord had it to where I didn't have to spend too much time outside today, so that's a blessing. But you know, for you brothers out there, you know, it's got to be out and about. Take heed. Let's look something up.
This is just wild to walk around the boardwalk here in downtown Wayzata, Minnesota, right on Lake Minnetonka, and there's nobody here. No kids playing, no shoppers.
Here's a little fun fact. In Canada, we used to have like indigenous fire starters. I don't know what their proper term was, but there were people in the indigenous communities who could light a fire and control the fire on an entire mountain. And they would prescribe burns so that there wouldn't be crazy forest fires. And you could literally drive along the highways like in Canada in the early 80s, and the sides of the highway would be on fire, and there'd just be like an indigenous person walking along the highway just watching the fire because they had started the fire and they were controlling it to prescribe burn to control the forest fires so that our forest fires weren't as bad. But we banned them from their ancient practices. And so now they're not allowed to prescribe burn all over Canada. And now we have crazy forest fires.
So this is what it looks like as it blows in at 11:30, 12:30, 1:50.
So the wildfires prove that your map is upside down.
It's a lot, Yakim. Give me a second. I'm about to park. So as you see, I'm trying to scroll through and see what's going on over there in Canada. Why are there wildfires? I mean, automatically we point to Esau, but what's going on behind the scenes? Like, what's really happening? We know, according to the scriptures, that he destroys the earth. And as we see, the earth is being destroyed. I mean, it could be, to make space for these new, dystopian cities. Could be to make space for more data centers. When you watch these, movies that take place in 2070 and 2052, the year 3000, it always speaks on this devil's dystopian plans. And you always notice how things look, and it looks very similar to what the first video I had played. How it looks in Times Square. That's how it looks in those dystopian movies. So I guess this is something we may have to start getting used to. This is I'm just speaking candidly, of course. This could be a, it seems like it could be a precursor to the famine of the word. As if the air quality is this bad, we can't stand out there and, and preach the word. That's not wise. All right, so I got my spot rather. All right, so let's look into some things.
Oh, fuck. Get in the air. Get out of my yard.
Wildfire sure is a hot topic these days, pun intended. I'm currently in BC under a haze of smoke from nearby
smoke from explode. We cannot be complacent. We are heading into a period of dry weather, wind, and storms.
Provincial officials warn the next...
Stop listening.
Some of you may have seen the visible satellite.
Hey, are you...
Alright, so I couldn't really find too much on what happened. Pretty much everyone was saying the reason why there's wildfires in Canada is because of dry weather mixed with lightning, and some were even saying that it also is based off of human intervention. All right, but I just started to dig in and do some homework, And I was thinking, as I was doing homework, I was looking at various brothers, seeing what they was talking about in the spirit. And one brother mentioned, he didn't mention it, but he said in his live stream, the brothers out there in Houston, GMS Houston, prophetic happenings and more plagues upon Egypt 2.0. Now, this definitely seems like a plague, right? So, when you look out the plagues of Egypt, it says water to blood, frogs, lice and gnats, flies, livestock pestilence, boils and hail, right? Locusts, darkness, and death of the firstborn. Now, one thing I had looked up, which we could I guess you could contribute to livestock pestilence, whereas it says smoke and air pollution from Canada wildfires directly impact U.S. agriculture by reducing crop yields, limiting solar energy for photosynthesis, and causing respiratory stress in livestock. It says smoke scatters and blocks sunlight, which is critical during key growing stages like corn pollination and grain field. A lack of sunlight can weaken plant stalks and reduce overall productivity. So this, on top of what Iran is doing, on top of the already messed up issue with the agricultural and the livestock, this is going to make for a very, very, very harsh famine. That's something we also got to look into rather. It says wildfire smokes emits pollutants that creates ground level ozone, which can burn plant tissue and further reduce photosynthesis. Fine particulate matter and poor air quality can lead to respiratory issues, reduce feed intake, and lower milk production in cattle, poultry, and swine. And then I asked, are these Canada wildfires the largest we've seen? Right? And pretty much, remember in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, how it says, in the endings it shall be in effects and signs. Right? And in 2nd Ezra 16, or is it 15, the Lord said he will smite Egypt, which this is Egypt, right? This is the spiritual Egypt, America, with plagues as before. Now with hail, right? When you read in Exodus 9 and 24, so there was a hail and fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast, and the hail smote every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field. Right? So that sounds very similar to everything that's going on today. And when you look at, I asked, are these Canada wildfires amongst the largest we've seen? Yes, the current 2026 Canadian wildfire season is exceptionally large and is on pace to become the third highest total on record for charred land. You see, this follows an unprecedented multi-year streak of severe fire activity across North America. While the 2026 season started slowly, an explosion of more than 850 active fires by mid-July has pushed total burnt area past 6 million acres. This rapid escalation cements the mid-2020s as the most destructive era for Canadian forests since record-keeping began. Now, number one verse was in 2023, the absolute largest on record. Fires consumed a staggering 16 million hectares, or over 40 million acres. Number two is in 2025. The second worst is was in 2025, and the third worst, which is we're on the current pace is right now, right? So yeah, and as I played in the video, let's see how many states. Right? So it says wildfire smoke from Canada is currently prompting official air quality alerts in at least 18 to 20 states. Now, you might say, well, that's not all of America. So how could that be a plague to Egypt? But you gotta understand that not all of America is necessarily contributes to livestock and agriculture. So the places that are getting hit creates a like a domino effect to where all of America is essentially being is essentially feeling the blow. Slovakia is essentially feeling the blow. This drifting toxic haze is heavily impacting millions of residents across the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes region, the Northeast, and parts of the Mid-Atlantic. All right, then it goes into it. Right? So I looked up those regions that is being affected. It says these regions are massive contributors to America's food supply, producing the majority of the nation's bulk grain, a significant portion of its dairy, and a vital share of its specialty fruits and vegetables. You know? And that's beautiful, man. The Lord said this devil will build, but he will throw down. This devil Trump is trying to make America great again, but the Lord is bringing this place down. Okay? And the Lord said his servant shall eat. So the Lord told us in Isaiah 65, his servant shall eat. So this is not necessarily for us to be afraid, but to be aware. The Lord is doing his thing. Yep. So yeah, man, I just wanted to highlight what's going on. You know, as I'm traveling through this fog, and I'm seeing, and you know, I'm taking note as I watch people walk down the street or drive with their windows open. Before I go, I was watching this guy. He's on Facebook or whatever, and he talks a lot about health. So he tells you what food to eat. You know, how does it affect your body? And he was going into what's going on today with these wildfires. He was going into how mullein leaf, the herb mullein leaf, and organic ginger are both two very good contributors to your respiratory. This guy's a fucking racing. It's crazy. Salakia. But he was saying how they're very good contributors to your respiratory. You know? So a lot can come out of this. You know, this devil could you know, kill off a lot of the livestock. And even if the livestock that do make it through all this fog, you know, they fuck around and get some disease, and now it's passed on to the people. But hey, we know this devil is always up to no good. And most importantly, we know that we're at the end, right? So the Lord is doing his thing. All right, I quoted how the Lord will destroy him that destroys the earth. Okay. So yeah, let me finish it off here. Let's finish it off here. I quoted this earlier. You know, I didn't really have anything planned, so Ephesians 5:15, see that you walk circumspectly, meaning around, and spec meaning to look, not as fools but as wise. All right, seeing what's to come. You see a lot of people today, they worry about a damn FIFA game, and you know that favorite show that's that just came on, and things that don't really matter, right? But us, we are commanded to not sleep as others. So it says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. All right. So this is what we do. And with that, shalom to the elect.